but I eat it. You know, I will never be able to say I never missed a meeting, but I never missed a meeting except for those meetings. To miss a meeting because you decided you wanted to go up north, you wanted to visit the cottage, that just doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't seem to me to be the way that the city ought to be run.
And much like yourself, I mean, I certainly have missed meetings as well, and mine are usually things that, where business takes me that I don't necessarily have options to not attend. But in this case, I am going on vacation this week. I am going out of town with my family. That happens on Thursday though. And that put me back 2 days because tomorrow's the 4th of July and I couldn't travel on the 4th of July unless I wanted to pay an astronomical amount of money for, you know, a family of 4, and I wasn't willing to do that. So I'm going to travel on Thursday night instead, of course, you know, scheduling it around the meeting today.
The only other thing that I have to say is that we are moving forward with the legal case with regard to the Safer Grant. It would be nice, in fact, Friday after I heard that there was a TA with the firefighters, I asked the mayor if this was enough. Now, can we decide that we're going to go forward with the Safer Grant, get that thing in place, and get that $8 million? And the answer was, well, we still have questions. We still have problems. And so I called John Barr and told him that it was time to move forward with the, that was the point at which we could have stopped everything. There would have been some minuscule legal fees, but we could have stopped everything right there. But we can't do that now. We can't take a chance on what this mayor is going to do. I personally have been in contact with Congressman Dingell's office, attempting to get him to use whatever persuasive powers he may have. Been in pretty constant contact with the fire chief, trying to help him in whatever way I can. But it comes down to this: the mayor, for whatever reason, you know, you hear about the governors of states who say, we ain't going to take that money, you know, millions and billions, and we ain't going to take that money. And you sit there and you say, well, what about your little kids that aren't going to get the health care? What about the people who aren't going to be able to afford the operations that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars? And you are making that decision for those people. Well, here it's only $8 million. But to that guy that was sitting at McDonald's the other day and having a heart attack and waiting 20 minutes for any kind of help, that's too late. If we had the paramedics, if we had the ALS in place in the city, that guy would have been attended to within 4 minutes. From here to McDonald's, 4 minutes. It's right around the corner to the hospital. He would have been stabilized. Maybe he wouldn't have made it, but he'd have a lot better chance of making it if he had been there in 8 minutes rather than 20 minutes. And that's the thing that I tried to get across to the mayor in one of my conversations with him. Disasters, fires, windstorms, disasters, they don't happen on schedule. You know, we got 1.7 house fires a week. Some weeks we don't have any. Some weeks we have 4. Some days we have 4. And we have 4. It was just an accident here where a person was trapped in the car. Every firefighter from the city that was on duty, was at that event. What happens if there's some immediate need south of here? These are the kind of things that you have to take into consideration when you start screwing around with people's lives.
Now, we were lucky due to this drought and the fireworks that we didn't have any major fires.
Yep.
Well, not only that, we got Metro Airport. If you notice today, they were flying east and west.
Oh, yeah.
And that could, I mean, God forbid, but a good friend of mine that I grew up with died on that one that crashed at Metro Airport 25 years ago.
One of our friends did too, in the car.
Yeah.
At
You
the
know,
light.
so, I mean, anything can happen at any time. And that $8 million is our money that we sent to the federal government that we should be getting back. When do we get a chance to get money back from the federal government with no strings attached?
So, having said that, anybody have any questions? I think you all know, or most of you perhaps know, that we will be in court on Friday, 9 o'clock.
Which court?
Prentice Edwards Court. I don't remember the number.
913, room 913, at the minister, at the
I
Coleman.
thought you might be here. I knew I could call that.
Thank you. Dependable.
Yes, yes,
At the Coleman A. Young building.
yeah. Anybody, any questions?
I have one.
Sure.
What effect does canceling tonight's meeting have on making the July 8th deadline? And has someone asked for an extension? Because, you know, if you were able to approve the fire contract, then that would be the last.
But again,
Yeah.
he was never prepared to bring that to us, or we would have had that Friday morning.
Okay.
So voting on the fire contract was never going to be on today's agenda with or without a meeting, or we would have had that in ample time. What effect does that have? Likely nothing. The SAFER grant and their negotiations are two very separate situations. They have nothing to do with one another. Whether he cancels or rejects that money or not really should have nothing to do with their TA. Now, obviously, all of his arguments were that we couldn't afford to take it, and with the reductions in place, it certainly should influence him to take it, but they don't necessarily have anything to do with one another. And related to the extensions, I don't know if you want to speak to that, John, about the potential of extension.
Well, there is a possibility, and again, we're working on that. We're trying to move in that direction even without the mayor's approval.
And there's hope. There may be an outlet that we can do it.
Yes.
But again, it shouldn't be this difficult.
Is it-
It's an easy decision.
Was there like 15 communities in this area that all took it?
I don't know the number, but it's never been rejected by anybody that's ever
Well,
applied for
Detroit
it.
just
Well, I
took it.
think,
I mean, who would turn it down?
I think Southfield rejected it a
You
couple
would.
years ago, just
Oh.
because there were strings attached.
Well, in the old SAFER grant, when you took it for 2 years, you had to agree to keep everybody on for a third year.
Yeah, because we had that offered a couple years ago here.
No, we were never approved. We applied for it a couple
Right.
years ago. We applied for it early in his term as well. But Southfield rejected it because there was a third year tied to it. So whatever staffing levels we had for 2 years, we had to agree to keep them for the third year. That is not the case in this SAFER grant. This is a fully 2-year funded SAFER grant with no other ties to a third year. Those have been removed. There literally are zero cost to this SAFER grant. Again, it does cover the accrued values in terms of compensated absence and those kind of things. You just have to manage it properly. Can you just, spend all the money and then when it's gone, say, oh, by the way, we don't have enough? No, they're not gonna cover that. You have to manage it properly. Maybe that's the fear. Maybe
Well,
They don't know how to manage it.
That's the
That's
whole
the
problem. They don't
problem.
know how to manage
More.
the city, so they don't know how to manage
That's
it.
why he's so negative towards getting it.
Probably.
It's an interesting thing that what I've seen of the fire contract, of the TA. We now have 24 firefighters, and this TA would call for 21. He was going to take it down to 19, but apparently he was willing to bump it by 2. Now, 21 firefighters will not open those other 2 stations. I grew up in the North End. My house, the house that I grew up in, was built in the 1910s, and a stick-built house made of wood. Those things don't have 15-minute flame barriers between each roof. Those houses catch fire, they're pretty much gone.